Louis again. As promised, I said I would do another live today. I am going to wait for some people to show up, or maybe show up. So I'm going to get my screen ready up here, and then we'll go over some stuff here. Let's see. I'm setting up the subscribe screen. There we go. I'm setting it up on this screen on the TV itself, and then there's another one where I'm just I'm getting it set up on the computer over here too. So at some point I will get tech savvy enough to get this right, get it all set up right. Where as promised, I can do a live from the live one that I set up on the channel. I can't figure out how to get that thing to actually go live when it's set up in advance. So we're going to talk about model year 2025, some things going on there, and then an email came out actually today about model year 2025 and the changes that are coming. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. And if I don't have any questions, we'll wrap it up. I'll just put that out there. And then what I'll do is I'll try to do one of these once a month. I'm not sure if I want to be dedicated up front to a day every month, the same day every month, but I'm going to try. Again, I'm setting up some stuff here so I can see it on the screen up here and up here. So bear with me a second here. And let's see here. There we go. And I got my email up over here. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and start. Did get an email, as I said, from corporate, and I'm going to move my mouse right here and get this set up. Time for a new Golf R with the horsepower bump. Yep. They're saying that we won't see that probably until closer to the reveal. The horsepower bump goes up to, I think they said 329. It's not a huge horsepower bump, but there is going to be a horsepower bump. Also, there's going to be some tweaks to the design. I'm playing with remotes here because it keeps wanting to play ads over there. There's going to be a horsepower bump. There's going to be, the headlights are a little slimmer. There's a little bit more of a refresh on the car. ChatGPT is now confirmed that it's going to be in pretty much every 2025, including Atlas. So what I would do is I'm going to go through the models and kind of talk about different things that we know. Okay, I'm going to start with Atlas. I'll try to go in alphabetical order. So 2025 Atlas, there are a couple changes coming. So nothing technology-wise, nothing, well, okay, maybe ChatGPT, that's coming. It sounds like that's going to be across the board in every 2025 model, including Atlas and Atlas Crossport, even though they just got that huge refresh last year. That was an emergency refresh because the competition had really caught up to us and was surpassing us on the interiors and stuff. So we definitely had to do something. So that's what we did. ChatGPT looks like it's going to be integrated into the infotainment screens for 2025. The other change is avocado green, wait for it, is now available on other trims. There is a bug that came in from outside. Is now available on other trims of the Atlas. Also, they're adding a new blue color, and let me pull up the email again here and tell you what this blue color is. It is Mountain Lake Blue. So it's not Kingfisher Blue, but Mountain Lake Blue. So what it says is both models include a new standard 15-watt wireless charging and light assist on all trims. SEL Premium R-Line trims and trims sport new high-end and design comfort features. So it looks like they're doing something different, including headrest perforation, four-way lumbar support, and massage function for front seats. So there it is. Okay, so I didn't read this email good enough. And then new colors for both Atlas and Atlas Crossport, so they're both getting it, is Mountain Lake Blue and Avocado Green. So Atlas Crossport will now be able to get avocado green. That sounds like a big deal. That's big news. Also, let's see, it was only available on the Peak Edition or Atlas alone. now pure gray is available outside of the Peak Edition for the Atlas. So now you can get pure gray and avocado green on any Atlas, and you can also get it on a Crossport. That's cool. Atlas Crossport, I am assuming that this is what it said about the SEL premium trims, R-Line trims. That's going to go for the Crossport as well, where they get a massage seat function, perforated headrest, and four-way lumbar support. New high-end design and comfort features is what they're calling it. So that's going to be on the Atlas Crossport as well. The Atlas Crossport also gains, I talked about this before, the SEL-R-Line black trim. So that's coming for 2025. You can order those now. The order banks are open for that. Golf R and GTI get a facelift. The European GTI was revealed in January, with the European Golf R to debut shortly. More details on the U.S. offers for both models will come closer to their introduction to the market in early 2025. So they're going to delay that, or hold off on that till 2025. The ID.4, I'm going to tell you guys something. The new 2024 ID.4, I got in behind the wheel of a all-wheel drive. It was an all-wheel drive Pro, not a Pro S, but it was an all-wheel drive Pro. Holy crap! The horsepower bump, the torque bump, the more powerful engine. That thing is on par with, almost on par with Tesla now. Took it out for a test drive, and I was at 75. Took it out twice. The first time I was at 75 in the first 1,500 feet on the service road. So that thing's got, it's a neck snapper. So the horsepower is there, the torque is there, and that new infotainment screen is now that 12.9. So the way it works for 2024 is, if it has a 62 kilowatt battery, it's still using the old ID.4 infotainment screen. So it's going to use the 10-inch screen, or whatever size that is, with software version 3. The new 82 kilowatt hour batteries, Pro and above, will get the new shifter position with the wipers now on the turn signal stalk, the new 12.9-inch screen. Gesture control is gone, but you can customize things. You also have a voice assistant. The voice assistant is called Ida, and you can change the name of Ida and have Ida do different things for you. You can speak naturally to it and get it to do that. They're also saying in 2025, they're already talking about a 2025, excuse me, ID.4. And the 2025 ID.4 will have a black package. Black wheels, black mirror caps. Let's see here. I'll see if I can scan it real quick up here on this email. The 2025 model will be available in 7 trims for the ID.4. There's a standard, a Pro, all-wheel drive Pro, 3 S trims. So there'll be an S, a Pro S, and an all-wheel drive Pro S, and 1 S Plus. That's the Pro S Plus. S models with a 62 kilowatt battery add a standard 12.9-inch display with backlit sliders. That 12.9-inch display is very nice because the backlit sliders go all the way across. The home button's down in the middle now instead of off to the side, and then 8 little cubes are up in the corner, and you have quick access tiles up at the top. So that infotainment screen, very nice, very sharp, and it's quick, easy to use. So it also says that S trims with the kilowatt battery add a 12.9-inch display with sliders. This is a 2025 model with ventilated front row seats. S and S Plus models will feature an available black package, including black mirror caps, black door handles, badging, and 20-inch black aluminum alloy wheels. S Plus models will add an auto-dimming driver's side door mirror. That's awesome. Okay. So ID Buzz will have 3 trims. There'll be a first edition, the Pro S, and then the Pro S Plus. Excuse me, I have a yawn there. All-wheel drive, 4Motion, or rear-wheel drive on most of those. And the first editions will have the 2-tone color setup, the color scheme. I've already gone through colors on those in previous videos, so I won't bore you with those details. Let me put up my chat here. So the big thing here is, as I'm going to my live here, just bear with me, guys. I'm still navigating stuff here. So the big thing with the ID Buzz is they're going to be limited up until 2025, and that's when they're going to actually build more of them. And I have to skip ads, guys, just to get the chat up. Okay, so there's going to be a limited build of those for quarter 3 or quarter 4, I should say, until next year, and then I think they're going to kind of pop the lid off. It is still going to be an EV, of course. Speaking of EV, some of you may have heard Volkswagen is reallocating part of the $196 billion that they set aside for EVs to explore and research gas engines. So I've got a feeling that Volkswagen is going to be yet another one that backs off of that promise of being all electric by 2035 or 2030. I think it was 2035 that they said they're going to be all electric by. We're going to see electric contraction. Speaking of that, the ID.7 has been delayed for the U.S. I don't think that car is going to make it to the U.S. market. I just don't think the price point and the design of that car, there's just not many buyers in this country for that car. Not sure. Let's see here. I'm trying to find my chat here, and my chat's not showing up on the screen here because it's on the phone. Okay, let me try that again. I saw that question there, and I didn't get to read it on the screen here. My screen's not cooperating. I saw something about a cross sport there. Okay. Let's see here. So Emily, you said didn't want to interrupt, but my husband has a 22 Atlas Cross Sport R and likes the 24-25, but he's so concerned about the dropping the smooth V6 to a turbo 4-cylinder. Is there an honest difference? Here's what's going to happen. You're going to drive this 4-cylinder. You're going to forget all about the V6. My wife's Cross Sport is a V6. Don't get me wrong. I love the car. I love the V6. We're on our second Atlas. First, we had a full-size Atlas V6 SEL. Now we have an SEL-R-Line V6. But I'm going to tell you what. The responsiveness of this 4-cylinder, the giddy up, the torque, the horsepower, it's all there. And here's the thing that people aren't really talking about, okay? Everybody wants to talk about 4-cylinders being underpowered for this vehicle. Guess what? 4-cylinders are the number one engine that people tune. You can tune these. I have a guy in Massachusetts that's already sent me a video. It sounds like he's driving a Golf R or a GTI. And he's got a tune on it. I'm not sure what stage he put on it, but oh my God, that thing is screaming. So tune the car. I mean, yeah, you're going to avoid your warranty if you tune the car while it's got a warranty on it. Do it after the fact, but man, you can turn a Crossport into an SQ5 in a heartbeat. You can turn it into an RS-Q8 or whatever. If they make the RS-Q8 in a 4-cylinder, it'd be equivalent. I'm sure. I think they're doing a V8 or a V6 in it. I don't know my Audi brands that well, but dude, put a tune on it, and you're gonna forget all about that. That engine, it feels faster. It feels more responsive. They even pipe in engine noise like they do with the GTI. So you can, change drive modes and the engine sound will be different. I firmly believe that the Atlas Cross Sport is about to really take off. I'm seeing things at the dealership that we had never seen for the Cross Sport before, where people are coming in solely on the looks of that car because of that light bar and that emblem on the front and the back. I'm telling you what, it's a gimmick, but man, it sells cars. It absolutely does. And out here where I live in a community called Wentzville, Missouri. It's a GM town. There's a GM plant here, the Wentzville assembly plant. And there are Atlases popping up everywhere. Everywhere. And I've sold Atlases to people who work at GM. Shout out to the Wentzvillians there. So I've sold quite a few of them to people here in town. Not worried about that one bit. As for that 4-cylinder, I think it's fantastic. They've done a great job on this car, and the people who drive this car, they absolutely fall in love with it. I've yet to have someone tell me that they hate the way this car drives, um, that they didn't like the pickup. Excuse me. For whatever reason, this basement makes me yawn. Um, so turning radius is there. The interior is there. Looks like it's going to get an interior upgrade on the premium next year. Some more upgrades, or some tweaking, I should say. Um, the just the overall look and feel of this car is something else. I mean, an SE with heated and ventilated seats, a heated steering wheel, that's unheard of. So that's the base trim that has those features. So I'm not worried about it at all. Yeah, definitely have him, Emily, definitely have him test drive the car. Seriously. Seriously drive the car. It will blow your mind. Thanks. I do my best there. I'm glad you love the channel. Why VWS uses 8-speed instead of a DSG on Jetta and Tiguan? I don't have the answer for that. But here's the thing that's confusing for me. We are using the DSG on the Taos on an all-wheel drive. And for whatever reason, that 1.5 and that DSG do not mesh well. Can't figure it out. I'm not saying it's a bad car. It's just the throttling. It lurches. You get a lurch with the throttle on that car. Front wheel drive one doesn't have the DSG. It just has the regular 8-speed transmission that they use in everything else, and it's fine. But the all-wheel drive version of the Taos with that DSG, they've got to do some transmission mapping or something with that car. It's weird. Excuse me. Now, don't get me wrong. So the Taos is a great car. If you're looking at a Taos all-wheel drive, absolutely come drive the car. Go drive the car. Drive it. But for some people, they can't get past that the way that throttle operates. Other people absolutely love it. So it may be right for you. It may not be right for you. But test drive the car and figure out for yourself what it is you like about it. The ID.7 is probably done for the U.S. I don't see it coming at all. And it sounds like Volkswagen might be having a little bit of a identity crisis where it comes to models right now. They just don't really seem to know what they're going to do now. And I think this is every company, because everybody was betting on EVs. And now all of a sudden, EVs are not being adopted. And I knew that all along. I've always said that I think EVs have a place in the market, but they're only going to be about 30% of the total market. 30% is all they'll ever get to. I can only speak for me in the Midwest. On the coast, I kind of think that governments force people into EVs. California's definitely on an island themselves with their demands for electric locomotives, electric semi-trucks, electric cars, and now they're wanting to charge, I hear they're wanting to charge a use tax. There's a new law that they're getting ready to put on the books where if you have a pool heater that uses gas, you have until 2030 or 2031 before you have to convert it to electric. That's not efficient. That's not easy to use. It takes 10 times as long to heat up water with electric than it does with gas. So I don't know where they're going with that. We've talked about Atlas. We talked about CrossSport. We talked about GTI and Golf R. ChatGPT's coming to all of those. 12-inch, the 12.9-inch screen, I think, is coming to pretty much everything. Earlier in a live chat, I did also talk about that key fob, the changing. I'm not 100% sure that they're doing that yet, but they're going to go to that universal key fob, the big, fat, chunky key fob that the Atlas has, the ID.4 has, the GTI and Golf R both have. If you guys are not familiar with what key I'm talking about, here I will show you my key fob here. It's this big guy right here. I have a case on a carbon fiber cover on it like that, but this is the key fob. I think the push is to get there. They may not all do it all next year. Also, let's see. Taos is getting a refresh. The refresh will include infotainment screen, I think it gets new headlights. Everything gets the new LED light bar, but not sure if they're doing a logo. And I think I mentioned earlier, I might have spoke prematurely and said that they were all getting illuminated logos. They may not go that far. I think they're going with the LED light bar and not the illuminated logo on everything yet, but it's probably coming in the future, because I tell you what, the Atlas is cracking heads. It's just cracking necks, man. People are like, what was that? I mean, they look back to see what it is. If there's no mistaking when you see one coming, that's an Atlas. Here it comes. So there's that. Tiguan. I covered this last week. There's going to be 6 trims for the Tiguan. There's going to be an S. There's going to be an SE. There'll be an SE PHEV. So there's going to be 2 versions of the SE, a regular SE, and then a hybrid version. Then there'll be an SEL-R-Line black. And I had said before that I didn't think they would do an SEL-R-Line black in the new one, but yep, it's coming. So an SEL-R-Line black in the Tiguan, an SEL-R-Line, and an SEL-R-Line PHEV. So your 2 partial hybrid electric vehicle Tiguans are going to be SE and SEL-R-Line. So you'll have those. As for the interiors, we're not sure what we see. The YouTube videos that are out there are all over the place on that R-Line interior. There's some Tiguan R videos mixed in there where it looks like they're presented as an R-Line, but they're actually an R. Excuse me. So there's that. And I'm sorry, guys, I can't control the yawning today. Is when I'm sitting still in this basement, I'm usually go, 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 and it makes me yawn. But the Tiguan, I seem to think that they were looking to shoot for November, but I don't think the Tiguan's going to be here till January, February. Volkswagen as a company is having a logistical, at least from my eyes. This is from my eyes. This is not from anybody at corporate. We're having a logistical nightmare shipping cars, especially cars that come particularly out of Puebla. Cars are getting damaged on purpose. Rails are being harvested from the railroad tracks, things of that nature. So they're being what's the word? Vandalized. The rails are being vandalized. The cars are being vandalized. So now what happens is all of our cars come from Puebla wrapped in that canvas cover. Every single one. It's not really canvas, but it's some fabric cover. So all of the cars come wrapped from the factory, and they get shipped by rail. We used to get all of our cars from Puebla via truck from Houston. Houston to St. Louis was roughly a day trip, maybe a day and a half trip. At most, it would take us 72 hours to get a truckload of cars. Now they come by rail, and we have local one-way truck drivers bringing us our cars. And most of the one-way truck drivers you use can only bring us 2 or 3 cars at a time, versus a truck that could bring us 9 at a time, 8 or 9, depending on what it is. If it was Atlas's, 8. Chattanooga is the same way. Chattanooga was a 5-hour drive from us, and now we're not getting them by truck there either. We're getting them shipped by rail to a rail yard where they're offloaded and stored and then shipped to us locally from a rail yard that's in the St. Louis metro. So there's definitely a difference in shipping. This also reminds me is I've been in the business 10 years, and I've never been in a dealership that has 400 cars in the pipeline. We have 400 cars in the pipeline. We're at 173 cars on the ground. We get trucks every day. And when I say trucks, I'm talking about the drop shipments from the one-way truck drivers. They're bringing, the pickup truck is an F450 pulling a 3-car trailer. So it's not a truck. But we get deliveries at least 3 times a day, sometimes more. I think the most we've gotten in a day was 6. But they're bringing us cars hot and heavy. We have over 60 Atlases in stock. We have 50 Tiguans in stock, 26 Tauses in stock, 2 GTIs in stock. Let's see what else. Jettas, we're up to 20. We have 70 Jettas inbound, a total of 70 Jettas in our pipeline. So there's that. And then I have a GLI on the ground. I have 4 more GLIs en route, and I have 8 more GTIs en route, and 2 Golf Rs. One's spoken for, the other one's available. If you know someone that's looking for a black manual Golf R 2024, I have a Mythos black one that's going to be available. Now I will tell you this: we are charging a 3K markup on that car. We only charge a markup on the Golf R because they don't build very many of them and they're high demand. But other than that, man, if you need a car, you know somebody needs a car, and they can come to St. Louis and see me, send them my way, because we need to sell cars. I'm averaging right now about 18 to 20 cars in a month. I need to get that number up to 30. So seriously, if you guys know someone that's looking to buy a car and they can travel to St. Louis and work with me, I'll work with them. And my website is vwstl.com. Type it into your browser, vwstl.com. That's my website. And then I'll also put the link down at the bottom of this, my app. I actually have an app that you can put my app on your phone, payment calculator, website, tools, all that stuff there. Hey Fritz, how are you? I guess I better read some comments. I'm guessing S-Bucks ambassador, that's Starbucks ambassador maybe. I would like to see them bring the Arteon back too, but I don't know that they will do that. They can't have disassembled the assembly line that much already where they can't just retool and bring it back. I think the Arteon is a better choice, but I actually push for that Passat. Man, if they bring the European version of the Passat over here, obviously not the Estate, the wagon, that's not going to work over here. No one's interested in a wagon in the States. Not enough to justify it, but bring the Passat back. Volkswagen should just admit their mistake and bring that car back. They shouldn't have got rid of it, just accepted the fact that it was going to sell fewer numbers. But now in the marketplace, there aren't a whole lot of sedans out there. The Accord, the Avalon, the Avalon's done, the Camry, there just isn't a lot out there. The Azera's gone. So the Passat had a spot. If you don't have an Arteon and you don't have a Passat, man, you got to bring something else. And the ID.7 wasn't it. Let's see. Thinking about upgrading to an Atlas Crossport. Love that light bar and lighted logo. That's Tony Green. Absolutely. And that engine's no slouch either. So even though it's 7 horsepower less, it still smokes off the line. I'm telling you. And you can put a tune on it if you want, and the thing will just pop and snap. It's a monster. Let's see here. When can we honestly expect the 25 GLI to drop? January, February, or March. They're already teasing about, well, I posted a picture of it there. They changed the front end. It looks more golfish than it does Jetta. It looks like it has less of a, actually it looks more like an EV on the front to me. The front end looks a little more closed off, a little more rounded. The pictures weren't that great, but they're a little different than the pictures that I think it's Car Scoops or someone dropped of it being spied over in California driving or something like that. It had some body cladding on it to kind of disguise it. Let's see. You've seen the GL leaks Autoblog, that's what it was. What tech differences do you think we'll see for 2025? Well, definitely you're going to get an infotainment upgrade. It may not be that big 12.9, but there's going to be something different with the infotainment screen. And you're going to get ChatGPT. That's for sure. I don't think there's going to be a horsepower bump or an engine thing. And I firmly believe Volkswagen's still going to axe the Jetta here, probably in the next 2 model years. I don't think it's a smart decision, but I think that's where they're going to go. Let's see. We still have not set off the alarm on either of our keys with that key fob. Well, consider yourself lucky, Perry, because I just set it off today with that cover on. All I did was move around, and I don't know what I did. Sat on it or something, and yeah. Maybe my pockets are just too big or too loose. Let's see here. 3K is not bad for an R. No, it's not. Not at all. It was so worth going to see. We love our R's. Every day we admire them. Thank you, Jessica. Those of you who don't know, Jessica, in the comments there, Jessica and Perry, they're married. They both came from California and bought a Golf R from me, and they drove here. Drove over 1,800 miles to pick them up and drove them home. 2 Golf R's. They got 1 manual and 1 automatic, 1 DSG. So let's see here. Q Wade, do you see the black edition coming back for the Crossway? Absolutely. I talked about that a little earlier. It's already on the order banks, so that will be available for 2025. And what I will bet is Volkswagen seems to build cars in blocks. That car will not be available at the beginning of the 25 model year, or you won't see it come in the original push of the 2025 models. It'll come later. So they may still, no, they won't do an SEL-R-Line because it's not on the order books. So they may just build those later, but they're coming. When the new refreshed Tiguan 2025 come out? I think they were planning for December or November, December, but it won't be. It won't be this year. It'll be 20. It'll be in 2025. It'll be January, February, and maybe even March. They'll be late because they're on this delay trend on everything, and this thing still has to get EPA approvals, and EPA seems to take their sweet time with Volkswagen, kind of like continued payback for the diesel stuff. Let's see here. Yep, Fritz, the 2025 Tiguan coming with power folding mirror standard, just like the Golf GTI. Fritz and I talked about that. Fritz is in the know. Fritz knows some people. So, oh, you're just spilling all the beans there, Fritz. Okay. Power folding mirrors, standard 7-speed DSG automatic transmission. Yep. That's all coming standard for 2025. And then, let's see here. Yeah, the trims, I went over those. Peak Edition remains for Atlas, and Avocado Green and Pure Gray are now available on any trim of Atlas. Well, I won't say any trim. I bet you they're not going to be available on the SE because you can't get Kingfisher Blue on a Crossport SE or the Aurora Red on either the Atlas SE or the Crossport SE. So they'll probably reserve that to SE Tech and higher. Let's see. I'm going to go back to my email over here so you guys can make sure to get everything there. Jetta and GLI, the lineup will be refreshed. The updated Jetta will be unveiled late in Q2 of 2024. So, Q2 of 2024 is when they'll reveal it. So that's coming up fairly quick because what is this? June going into July. August starts. Does September start Q3? Wait, I'm doing the math here. So June is the last month of Q2. So that should be coming out. That's going to be unveiled probably before the end of the month then. If my calendar math is correct there. Let's see. And they're saying in this email that they're gonna the third generation of the all new 2025 model will the details, including reveal timing, will be shared later this year. So yeah, that car's not going to make it on the ground. That's not going to touch the ground in 2024 at all. Let's see. I'm trying to think what else I needed to talk about here. I'm looking at all my notes here. ID Buzz, ID.7, Tiguan, GLI, Jetta, Taos. Yep, all of that stuff is getting refreshes for 2025. I can't believe they're already talking about the 2025 ID.4, but they are. So sounds like there's going to be some more features for that. I'm going to guess that production numbers will tweak a little bit on that. And while we're talking about the Jetta, I'm going to actually log in here and show you. I have 3 2025 Jettas already in our pipeline. Every dealer got 3. We already have 3 allocated to us. It doesn't show. What's curious to me is it does not show the engine size on this listing now. So, man, this fly is persistent. So it doesn't show a engine size. Normally it says 1.5, but this one doesn't show that. It just says Jetta 2025. There's a couple new colors coming. The blue color is no longer going to be Rising Blue Metallic. It's going to be, as I click here, okay, Jetta PA2. Okay, so we have a Jetta S, a Jetta SE, and a Jetta Sport allocated to us. Looks like the manual transmission, as I said before, is gone, except for GLI. GLI is going to be the exception. Monument Gray is now a color, exterior color. I don't know if that's a Monument Gray Metallic. I don't know if that replaces anything. It looks like now it's going to be a second gray because we have a Jetta Sport that's still platinum gray. That's an old school color that's been around forever. Platinum gray for the Jetta Sport with Titan black cloth. Monument gray with something called Micro Cloud and Leatherette Grigio Titan Black. So that's probably going to look cool. And that's probably going to be a combo seat or hybrid seat, kind of like what the Taos has in it, where it's leatherette, cloud text, and cloth. Then the new blue for the Jetta is going to be Monterey blue with Titan black cloth. So those are all the details that I have on those. Those are showing ETA, and I apologize for leaning close to the camera here, but those have an ETA October. So we'll probably see the 2025 Jetta in October, first week of October to the 23rd, somewhere before Halloween. So the Jetta does get that refresh. And then the GLI will also get a refresh, but the GLI always comes out late after the Jetta. The Jetta's already been on the ground for months before the GLI shows up. So don't get your hopes up for the GI coming sooner. It would make sense if they give the Jettas an outgoing Tiguan engine. They need a power bump. I don't disagree with that, but I just wish they wouldn't axe this car, and I got a really strong feeling that they're going to kill the Jetta too. I'm a firm believer of what works in Europe works in the States. If it works in Europe, bring it here. I'm still a firm believer of bring the Tiguan R to the States. Build it in limited quantities for the U.S. Yes, you got to get it certified for the EPA. You got to meet U.S. Standards. I understand all that. But bring the Tiguan R here. Bring 3,000 of them here like you do the Golf R. It's the same engine. It's the same car, essentially, just in an SUV. Give the SQ5 a little heat. Give it a little run for the money. So if you brought the Tiguan R to the States, build it in limited quantities for the U.S. and bring it stateside, that would be awesome. Also, bring us limited quantities of the T-Roc. The Taos kind of came in. We thought we were getting a T-Roc for a little bit, but the Taos came in, and the Taos was all American or all U.S. market kind of thing. Bring a T-Roc over here with the convertible top. Bring back a convertible, okay? So bring the T-Roc to the States. Do it in limited runs. What they should do is have a factory that just builds limited runs of cars. Do the Ariane in a limited release. So you do 3,000 Arianes, 3,000 Tiguan Rs, 3,000 T-Rocs, 3,000 Touaregs for the U.S. market. Why not? There's definitely a demand there. Everybody who owns a Touareg buys another Touareg, or they did when they were available. The Touareg is a badass car, especially now. The 2024, 2025 models have been absolutely just sexy, stunning cars. So bring those back. Also, on another note, on the Tiguan, the 2025 Tiguan, there's some grumblings in the background that there may be a coupe version of the Tiguan coming to the States as well later on, probably in 2026. So if you want an idea what that looks like, look for videos or Google a Tiguan X. That's a Chinese version, and that's a hatch version of the Tiguan over in China. So it'll look something similar to that. With the success of the Crossport, it absolutely makes sense to bring the Tiguan in a coupe. So that was another grumbling that we heard. Let's see here. My 2025 Tiguan, model year 25 Park Assist Pro is the first on the new Tiguan. Yep. Fritz is spilling all the beans there, so look at all his comments. Okay, so Park Assist Pro is coming to the U.S. This is where you can stand outside the car, use your phone to park your car without you in it. Also, memory park assist is already on ID.4, and it's coming to, I think it's coming to other models in 2025. Not everything's going to get Park Assist Pro, from my understanding, but some stuff's going to get that memory memory Park Assist. And Starbucks Ambassador, I don't think they're going to kill the Jetta. They're used in rental fleets for Enterprise and others. I notice Atlases are used by Enterprise too. You're absolutely right. And Enterprise is based here in St. Louis, so their headquarters is here, and there's Atlases everywhere. Hertz. And it's weird to see Hertz and Enterprise when they drop their cars off for service They'll drop 3 or 4 of them off at a time. So yeah, it if the numbers are dwindling, does an auto manufacturer keep it even though there's fleet sales for it? I think a manufacturer will think that they can just flip them to another model, maybe to a Taos or something else. I mean, look, Elon Musk got Hertz to sign on to buy thousands of Teslas, and that experiment went bust, and it damn near bankrupted Hertz. So anything's possible. Like I said, I would love to see them bring the Passat back. That's another car. They'd have to build more than 3,000 of them, but they can make a limited run of that. And if they do make a limited run of the Passat, bring back the GT. Bring back the GT. You don't have to put a V6 in it. Put this engine in it. But give it some horsepower. Give it 350 horsepower. And here's a thought. Wait for it. All-wheel drive. Make a Passat sedan with 350 horsepower and all-wheel drive. Take my money. Take my money. That would be a badass car. Let's see. Model year 2025 Tiguan will get 2 sizes of screen based on 13-inch. The top of the line SEL-R-Line trim get the 15-inch screen. Fritz, are you sure that's going to be 15 and not 12.9? With head-up display, first on the Tiguan, massage front seats and rear heated seats. Yep. So I'm telling you what, the Tiguan's about to get some big boy pants. The Tiguan's about to be a velocity seller. We're going to bring some people to the brand. We're going to get some people from Honda with that CR-V. We're going to definitely pull people from the Rogue, the Murano, the CX-5 for sure. Here's an interesting thought. My complex, I'm smack dab in the middle. I'm sandwiched between Mazda on the right, and if you're looking out at the highway, Mazda on the right and Cadillac on the left. The people who come and they're not loyal to a brand or anything. They're just looking at cars. That look at Mazda and look at Volkswagen. It's about 95% of the time when they look at a CX-5, they come over and look at a Tiguan, they end up buying the Tiguan. I'm kind of blown away by that. The CX-5 is a well put together car. Mazda does great on their interiors. They give you that premium feel. But they don't do a lot for space, and their comfort's there. It's just they don't do a lot for carving out the space. And we get a lot of people, and I was kind of surprised by that. I kind of think that we would lose to a CX-5, but we don't. Like I said, 95% of the time, they buy the Tiguan. Excuse me. So that's an interesting thing, stat to me. Same with the CX-30 and the Taos. People will cross-shop both of those, and the Taos usually ends up winning, which is interesting to me too, because the interior and the luxury and premium feel of the Mazda, I don't think we're quite there on the Volkswagen. We're just not, unless you're talking about an Atlas. And then the CX-90, okay, don't get me started on this one. This is a great-looking car, a beautiful car. It's 3 rows. It's bigger. It's bigger than a CX-9. It's bigger than any Mazda before it. But they still didn't get the 3rd row seat right. No one has the 3rd row seat right except for the Atlas. The Atlas has so much more interior space. A Q7 doesn't have the amount of space that a Atlas has in the 3rd row. And the Tahoe, even though it's a bigger car, the Atlas has more interior volume and interior space that's usable than the Tahoe does. And the Tahoe's a bigger car. That's just mind-boggling to tell people. They're like, wait, really? So let's see. I have a Q5, which I love. So if you can pull me a Tiguan, you've earned it. Pull me to a Tiguan. Yeah, this new Tiguan, we're coming for you. I'm telling you, Emily, we're coming for you. This new Tiguan is going to be badass. I think there's more to diamond stitch interior. That little knob that lights up, that LED knob, it lights up and it doubles as a volume knob and also a mood selector. The ambient lighting, the head-up display, power folding mirrors, the key fob, interior lighting, the 12.9-inch screen, massage seats, power liftgate, the Park Assist Pro rear heated seats, all of that stuff that we're hearing. Oh, and the hybrid. Yeah, we're coming for you, Emily. Hang on. I'll be calling you. Oh, and there's a horsepower bump too. That's the other thing. So back to what I was saying now. Tiguan R should be in the States. Touareg should be in the States. Passat should be back in the States. Arteon should be back in the States. The T-Roc should be in the States. And the Club Sport should be in the States. The GTI Club Sport, granted it's not a Golf GTI, but it's very similar. Still, bring them here. See what sticks. Let's play around. Let's see what we can work out. Volkswagen needs to stop being scared of stepping on Audi's toes. They're very, very cautious to not give us anything that could infringe on Audi's territory. And Audi's territory is growing and growing by leaps and bounds, and Audi will be just fine. If Volkswagen would stop worrying about that and give us some cool shit, pardon my French, but they need to. They need to give us some cool shit, and Volkswagen would take off, because the U.S. market is the smallest market for Volkswagen globally in the world. We're at 2% market share, and they want to grow that, but they're not doing any. They're shooting themselves in the foot. Shooting themselves in the foot. So, yep. I know, Fritz, but if they hear it, maybe they might listen. Yeah. The other thing, GLI. Like I said before, that's going to come out later. I'm pretty sure they won't change much. They'll probably keep the Autobahn and the black package. The black package, the black SEL-R-Line black on the Tiguan, now the Taos black on Taos SE black on the Taos. All of these things with black accents are doing so well. They'd be foolish to cut them. The other thing is, almost everything I get on Atlases that are SE Tech come with black wheels now. I mean, it's just, people just can't unsee it. And those of you that say it's a fad, it's not a fad. It's been here forever. Let's see here. The mind-boggling thing my local VW dealers are doing right now are selling leftover 23 RDI SO premiums for 41, 42K, 11K dealer markdowns. That's because those are getting close to what they call in the business final pay, as in the manufacturer is going to stop paying the dealers to have those cars in inventory and keep them in stock. So those cars, the dealer essentially has to pay off the note for that car and sell it for a loss. So 10 and 11 grand, 12 grand off, that's about right. The last Arteon I sold, I took 10 grand off of it. And we sold out of Arteons, and we weren't interested in getting any more. We've had customers that we get leads on customers that were interested in Arteon. We're not interested in dealer trading, locating one. We're not interested in doing that, because we would actually locate a car to sell it to a customer, because that customer is not going to pay MSRP for it. They're going to demand that $10,000 or $11,000 or $12,000 discount that they're seeing. So what interest do I as a dealer have in going to get a car from another dealer just to take a loss on it? We're not. So we just tell them, sorry, sir, we're sold out. You can contact another dealer. I mean, that's how that car plays out. It's sad, because that's a gorgeous car. It's a beautiful car, and it's just, it's really sad, because that car never got a fair shake. They advertised it once. There was one commercial called Stop and Stare that they ran for the Arteon. And it was an old 70s song, and it was a great commercial. But that ad didn't do it for them. They didn't put any money behind it. Peter, yes, there will be changes to the Atlas. They're minor changes. There are only paint colors. Now, avocado green is going to be available outside of the Peak Edition on, I'm going to say SE Tech and above on the Atlas. So you can get avocado green now. And then there's a new color. Oh gosh, I have to go back to it. Let's see here in my email. The color was called, I'm looking for it here. I have an email up on the screen here. So light assist is standard. 15-watt wireless charging is standard. The SEL Premium R-Line trims will get a new high-end design and comfort features, is what they're saying. So that translation is that's going to change. The seats are going to get more comfortable, I'm guessing, including headrest perforation, 4-way lumbar support, and massage function on the front seats. New colors for Atlas and Atlas Crossport include Mountain Lake Blue and Avocado Green. So Mountain Lake Blue is going to be available on both Cross Sport and Atlas. It doesn't say in here that Kingfisher Blue is going away, but considering it was only on the Arteon and the Cross Sport, I got a feeling they're probably replacing this blue with that. Or that blue, the Kingfisher Blue is getting replaced with this rather than carry two blues. So the avocado green will also be available on a Cross Sport, it looks like, for next year. Pure gray will also be available on any Atlas full size. So and that's barring the SE. I think I think they're gonna stick to their guns with the SE, where it gets the same old boring colors: black, white, gray, and silver. That's pretty much it. But other than that, everything else will get color bumps, or the color choices. Chat GBT is going to be the other thing. And then that's pretty much it for that. Does anybody else have any questions? You guys are kind of quiet on the questions there. But if you got questions, go ahead and ask them. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap up here in a couple minutes because it's working on an hour. I got stuff to do before the storms move in, but it was like almost the heat index was almost 100 today. So we're on day one of this huge, massive heat wave that's coming in that they're forecasting for us. And then there's storms coming tonight, but the heat's going to come back tomorrow. So if anybody if no one has any questions, I can wrap this up, but I'll wait for a couple minutes here. The big change here again, I'll kind of recap 2025. Chat GBT looks like it's coming to everything for voice assistants. Thank you. New APR for the Atlas. I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you're talking about APR as in finance rate. Right now it's still 2.9 for 60. But you could be talking about an APR tune. Not sure. So I don't know about APR tune, but APR rate, I know this APR stays around until July 1st. July 1st is a Monday because the month ends on a Sunday, so they're ending on a Monday. Yep. So see you, Perry. He's watching the puck drop on the cup game. So does anybody else have any questions at all? So what I was talking about, Chat GBT, new infotainment upgrades to everything. Let's see, the interior upgrades to the SEL Premium R-Line on both Crossport and Atlas for next year. I mean, they kind of outdid themselves as it was. Now they're adding more content. It justified it. I guess it's more stuff to justify the price. The LED light bar thing, the illuminated logo on the Atlas has been a great selling point. That stuff's going to stay. I'm not sure that it's going to come to anything else next year, though, because I had said previously that it would. Tiguan are expecting in November, December, but delayed till January, February. That's my realistic outlook on that. Because it hasn't showed at any car shows. There's been zero. There's been radio silence on 2025s. You're welcome. I'm guessing that's Starbucks ambassador. You're welcome. There's been absolutely radio silence on that Tiguan. And ID Buzz, we'll get them by Thanksgiving. This fly is just bugging me. Man, I mean, you'd think I was stinky or something. The ID Buzz is coming. We'll see them around Thanksgiving. I'll be sure to make videos of those. That's going to be cool, and that's still planning to be an EV. That's going to be the first editions. You can order those, so if you need to find a dealer to order those, or your local dealer is not interested in ordering one, I will order it for you. Just contact me for details. Like I said, I have an app now. I'll put the link for the app down below. You can download that to your phone, and actually you can contact me at any time, text me, email me, look at my inventory, ask me questions, and there's also a payment calculator on there too. And these days, payment calculators They're definitely needed. Speaking of that, I'm just going to touch on one quick thing here, and I'll round this out at a full hour. We're starting to see in the dealership, at least I am at my dealership, people coming in with some ridiculous payoff amounts on cars. What we're starting to see are these COVID cars, these cars that people bought during COVID. When I was talking about it before, I was only talking about at new car dealerships. I just had a gentleman come in yesterday that his wife bought an Atlas, and they took advantage of the situation, and he has a 2019 or had a 2019 Atlas with 106,000 miles on it, an SEL-R-Line Atlas V6. His payoff was still $26,000 on that car. The value of that car was about 10 grand back of that. So we're definitely getting to a point where people are going to have to start bringing money to the table on these cars. If you paid full list for a car, or if you paid an inflated price for a car, you're going to have to come with some cash down, or look into a lease. You may be out of whack. You may be out of round where you can't even lease a car. And the reason I suggest leasing is because in a lot of cases, I can't say all of them now, especially now in this market with these high payoffs and low values on these cars. A lease will eat up the negative equity. It's essentially a sponge that will soak up that toxic inequity that you have on your car value. So let's say you're upside down 9 grand on a car and you can't bring any money to the table. By leasing a car, we can roll that 9 grand into the new lease. Yes, you're going to have a higher payment. You're going to have a high payment. We have high payments no matter what you're doing. 2.9 for 60 on a $56,000 car is not a cheap payment. Even though it's 2.9, it's still not a cheap payment. So you're not going to have a cheap payment. You're not going to have a $300 payment. You're not going to have a $400 payment. You're not going to have a $500 payment. You're going to have, at minimum, a $600 payment on a $30,000 car, pushing to $40,000 in reality. But a lease makes sense in that case, because once you're done with that lease, you turn the car in, your inequity's gone, you're reset to zero. So that definitely helps. I'm sorry about shooing this fly, but he's persistent at just bugging me. This whole basement, and he's bugging me. The inequity question there, if you have inequity there, consider leasing a car. And it works for all the brands that way, not just Volkswagen or Audi. I can speak for Volkswagen and Audi, but man, you might have to consider a lease. And people say, well, I don't own the car. It doesn't matter at this point. You're using the lease to soak up the inequity, to set you back to zero, to reset, to right the ship, so to speak. So you can walk out of that car and go get whatever you want. Or you can buy that lease even at the end. The residual value is what you can buy the car for. You can buy that car at the end, or you're reset to zero and you can walk away and go buy something else. You just use that car. Yeah, it may suck driving a car with not a lot of features on it for 3 years, but if it resets you to zero where you don't have to deal with stomaching a huge payment and all of this inequity rolled over to the next car, then do it. And on that note too, if you don't own your car for more than 5 years, if your history is to get out of a car every 3 years, stop buying cars. Lease them. Stop buying cars. I'm serious. Stop buying them. You can get a 20,000 mile a year lease. You can get 18,000. You get 15,000. You get 10,000. You get 12,000. You get 7,500. Stop buying cars if you're not going to stay in them more than 5 years. I'm serious about that. And you can say I'm wrong, and you can argue that or against that, but that's the case. Do not buy a car if you don't plan on keeping it more than 3 years. If you change cars every 3 years, you should definitely be leasing. And I'm serious with that. So with that, you guys have a great evening. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm going to try to do these once a month. Leave comments below. Man, thanks for the chat, guys. I'm going to sign off. But as usual, thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great night.